What is a factory farm anyway? Or a CAFO, a concentrated animal feeding operation? 500 dairy cows, 1,000 hogs, 500,000 chickens, or 100,000 egg-laying chickens. But one of the problems that at Food and Water Watch we see is the biggest and most pressing with factory farms is antibiotic resistance. If I go to the hospital and I need antibiotics, I need to trust that they work. Right now, over 80% of antibiotics are fed on a sub-therapeutic level or are maintained to livestock to ensure that they grow faster and to try to prevent disease. And what it means is that our antibiotics no longer work for us when we need them. This is the food that comes into our restaurants, into the fast food industry. When you go out and you buy food, most of it comes from a factory farm. And they're not going to advertise that it comes from a factory farm, but you know this because the farmed animals that do not come from factory farms are labeled as such and often are sold at a premium price.
Factory farms are among the top 10 causes of polluted rivers in the state of Illinois. Pollution from factory farms degrades the quality of water in hundreds of Illinois stream miles, and it degrades it with things like excessive concentrations of nutrients, ammonia, pathogens, antibiotics. And this takes a toll on the quality of our water and the aquatic life that lives in those streams. We find, unfortunately, that a lot of times people proposing to build new facilities are doing so with very little regard for their neighbors. And the law allows them to do this.
I received a registered letter from my neighbor, as did other neighbors, that he wanted to build a CAFO across the road from my property that would house 5,000 hogs over a concrete manure pit that would hold a year's worth of manure. The county board approved it. Then the Department of Agriculture also approved the building of that CAFO. Why is that a problem for me? Well, first of all, the stink. About a week after they put those 5,000 hogs into that confinement, you could hear it and smell it. Hogs are not quiet. They are noisy and they are stinky. But what in addition to that is a problem? As Stacy mentioned, the water supply. This confinement is built on a hill that rolls down to a stream. That stream goes underneath the gravel road into my stream. My stream ultimately flows into the Mississippi River. That CAFO at some point will have a spill. That manure will go down into my stream, pollute my stream, and on into the Mississippi. And there is no waste management plan that has to be filed with the Illinois Department of the Agriculture or the local Adams County Board. All he has to do is say that he has a plan. Our rural way of life is being destroyed. It's being taken from us.
Educating our state representatives and senators in Springfield is paramount to addressing pollution from large animal feeding operations or CAFOs. The Illinois Farm Bureau and other agricultural lobbying organizations are constantly talking to legislators about these farms, working to convince them that these pollution concerns are not real. We need all of you to take a proactive approach and get involved in the political process by volunteering with our partner organizations, writing letters, and educating your legislators about these issues here today. The solution to helping our rural neighbors and holding the livestock industry accountable are stronger regulations.
Our ultimate goal is a moratorium on all new and expanded factory farms in our state. That's an uphill battle. It's going to take a long time. So in the meantime, we have a few things that we can work for right now. So first is just policies to curb pollution, to better protect our waterways right away and make sure our drinking water is safe. We're also working for policies to promote sustainable agriculture so that small farmers who are good stewards for the environment can thrive. Working to rigorously enforce the laws we already have on the books. And then finally, working for more local control. Communities should have more say in the siting of new and expanded factory farms. companies like Cargill and Monsanto and ADM have amassed significant power in our state. They spend a lot of money to make sure that our elected officials do what they want. So for example, since 2005, these companies have spent more than $125 million lobbying our members of Congress. Second challenge is just the demographics of the state. 2/3 of the population lives in Chicago or the surrounding suburbs. That's not where most of the factory farms are. So most of the population doesn't see this pollution. They don't experience the direct health effects. And that means that their elected officials are not hearing their constituents clamoring for change. But we know that many of the elected officials in Chicagoland would be with us on the issue if only they were hearing more from their constituents. So our strategy is to make this issue relevant to Chicagoland decision makers. We're going to do that in 2 ways. The first is public education and citizen action, so thanks for being part of that tonight. Second, we're working to build coalitions of green restaurants and organic and sustainable grocery stores around here. We know that although people might not live next door to a CAFO, they certainly care about where their food comes from. So we can tap into that existing sentiment to spur action. But our opposition has a lot more money than us, and they always will. So the only way for us to enact this plan and to win is simply to have more people who are taking action at all levels. So there are some cards on all of your tables. You should take a look at those. They just have some examples of things that you can do to make a difference on this campaign. Fill out that card with the things that you would be willing to do. We'll get in touch with you about how to do all those things, and this really is the thing that makes a difference. So I certainly encourage you to do that. Thank you.